Robert Kiyosaki advises investing in cows to face the economic great collapse that is coming, to which this famous investor and author of the bestseller Rich Dad Poor Dad refers. In this video we will get to the bottom of this, so stay until the end, because what we will see interests you a lot. Let's start. Renowned US investor Robert Kiyosaki, author of the popular book Rich Dad Poor Dad, has warned that the economy is in a situation that could lead to the biggest collapse in history. The S&P 500, one of the most important stock market indices in the US, has lost more than 23% of its value so far this year, and the situation will get worse, Kiyosaki predicted in an interview with the Kitco news portal. "This is going to be the biggest crash in world history. We have never had so much debt," he said. The author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad recommended investors to protect their portfolios with hard assets, such as gold, silver, as well as investing in sectors such as livestock. "Anything that can be printed, like a stock certificate, a bond or a dollar, I don't want it," he said. "I'm a big fan of gold, silver, oil and food. I'm a hard asset person," he added. Investment in livestock. Kiyosaki explained that these precious metals are safe and serve as a means of protection against rising inflation and uncertainty, while their value is largely unaffected by economic events around the world. Last June, the writer published a message on his Twitter account in which he stated that canned tuna may be the best investment in the event of a food shortage. In early September, the European Union's Farmers' Union, Copa-Cogeca, warned of a lack of groceries next winter and rising prices due to rising energy costs. Kiyosaki believes that the food deficit could also reach the US in that sense. He revealed that he invests in cattle as a protection against said possibility. "I invest in Wagyu breed cattle," he said. "People talk about farmland and all that, but I think cattle are great. You can always eat it." The biggest accident in world history. Robert Kiyosaki issues another dire warning and now avoids anything that can be printed. Here are 3 hard assets he likes instead. The markets certainly look ugly these days. The S&P 500 is down 23% so far this year. For the tech lot and Nasdaq Composite, the loss in 2022 has widened to an even more painful 31%. Rich Dad Poor Dad author Robert Kiyosaki, who previously sounded the alarm, emphasizes how serious this recession could turn out to be. Given that Kiyosaki has previously tweeted that crashes are the best times to get rich, one might think it's time to hunt for bargains in the battered stock market. But that's not what Kiyosaki is doing right now. "Anything that can be printed, like a stock certificate, a bond or a dollar, I don't want it," he says. Here's a look at what Kiyosaki prefers. Precious metals, particularly gold and silver, have been a popular hedge against inflation and uncertainty. They cannot be printed out of thin air like fiat money, and their value is not greatly affected by economic events around the world. When the host asked Kiyosaki if he was adding to his portfolio, his answer was simple. "I'm buying more gold and silver." Precious metals are certainly not immune to the sell-off that has been going on this year. The price of gold is actually down 9% in 2022, while silver is down nearly 20%. Kiyosaki sees a glorious rebirth on the horizon. Silver will stay at $20 for 3 to 5 years, then go up to $100 or $500, he says in a recent tweet, adding that everyone can buy silver and hard silver now. For gold, he points to investment guru Jim Rickards, who once predicted the yellow metal would skyrocket to $15,000 an ounce. "I like their numbers. I think $15,000 is not out of the question for gold," says Kiyosaki. While there are many ways to gain exposure to gold and silver, he prefers to buy the metal outright. Earlier this year, he tweeted that he only wants real gold or silver coins and not ETFs. "I buy gold and silver for a reason, because if there's pressure, I can spend it anywhere in the world," he tells Kitco. Bitcoin. Some say Bitcoin is the new gold. While Kiyosaki is a self-proclaimed lover of gold, he also likes the world's largest cryptocurrency. Of course, Bitcoin is extremely volatile, which is why Kiyosaki shares the story of how he got on board during one of the pullbacks. "When Bitcoin first hit $20,000, I watched it and it went down again," he says. "So it came back and hit $6,000, so I knew it was gaining momentum as a trader would say, and when it hit $6,000, I bought 60. So I'm in the money." As we now know, Bitcoin then went on a rollercoaster ride, reaching a high of $68,990 last November. Today, Bitcoin is trading at around $19,000 each, a staggering 72% retracement from its peak, but still well above Kiyosaki's entry price. Looking ahead, he is optimistic and bullish on the blockchain and ready to buy again if the downtrend continues. If it goes down to $1,000, I'm going to back the truck up. Food prices have been rising amid tight supplies around the world. And that's an area investors might want to pay attention to. Inflation about to take off. The best investments are cans of tuna and baked beans, Kiyosaki tweeted in June, explaining that you can't eat gold, silver, or Bitcoin, but you can eat tuna and beans. And right now, he tells Kitco that he's also investing in cattle. I invest in Wagyu cattle, he says. People talk about farmland and all that, but I think cattle are great. In fact, investing in farmland has been popular these days. After all, Bill Gates happens to be the largest private owner of farmland in the US, and even retail investors are now getting in on the action. It may be a bit more difficult for retail investors to get into the cattle, but the reward may be worth it. You can always eat the thing, says Kiyosaki.